Welcome, Central Texas. Welcome to Kids Community Connections, 103.1 Kids FM. I'm Phyllis Jones, your host for this morning. And you know what? I'm kind of halfway liking the weather because it's not hot and I can think. Because remember, when it gets hot, I can't think. And I even advise people just leave me alone when it's hot because my brain's only thinking about getting cool. You know, last week we talked about local politics, and that's where our decision making starts, with local politics. If you want things to go a certain way, you have to vote. Unfortunately, the rest of, I'll say even Bell County, didn't vote. Especially Killeen. You know, we have 50,000 people registered to vote, and like 3,000 of them voted. So I guess those are the only people that cared about how things go. So the rest of y'all don't complain. Just smile all day, all the time. When something happens, just smile. That's all I want you to do. Because if you don't vote, you should just be quiet. You know, and and I'm supposed to have more than one guest, but right now I have Steve Harris, our city council person, so he could jump in whenever he needs to. And I'm going to stay on the local for a little bit, then we're going to jump up to the other people, the big people who decide when you wake up and whether you will be going to work or not. You know, this week on the city council, they're once again talking about the curfew. And they're talking about moving it up, moving it down, because of the crime rate we're having. And personally, I think that we're looking at the top of a problem. We're not looking at the root. You know, so many times when we go to solve something, we look at the top. Just how we look at the top. We don't look at why and go all the way down to the bottom of finding out exactly what's going on. And, you know, I'll go back to last month. My guests were the Young Boys of Honor, who I go to Eastwood Elementary School. You know, and they were talking about when they come home from school, all this crime they see when they're coming home from school. They don't see anything positive. You know, they're seeing men beat up women and all these other things. And what that says to me is most people over there don't have a job. Because that's just what they're saying. They don't have a job. They don't have one, so these useless things are going on. And at the same time, these young kids have decided they're not going to walk that path, but they live there. You know, but they live there. So they're not, and they're scared, yes, because they're scared of, mentally they know they're not going to walk that path, but they don't have another path to look at. You know, so our city has helped them with that path of staying that way. I'll say I'm blaming the city. Yes, I am. Because if our city, if we have, first of all, if our police has community policing, those kids never see police over there unless it's something bad. So something's wrong there. I asked our city council people, do they ever walk over there just to go? And then most of them will say no. They will say no, and why won't have an answer. You know, so for those area kids, the curfew is not the problem. It isn't the problem. So there, the problem is one, lack of jobs and lack of education and motivation. So the curfew in that area, it won't change anything. The same things are going to happen. The older kids that are committing some of the issues over there, that's not going to change them. It's not going to change the mindset, and you're not going to change what's going on. So I think that our city council needs to, don't pat themselves on the back because they're changing the curfew. Don't think you did some great thing. You need to find out the root of the problem. We need to realize that we have parents who work in the evening. Two-family parent, but they work in the evening. Or you might have a single parent and he or she works in the evening because that's the only hours they can work. Well, you know, when they're at home, and I'm not going to say it's okay for their kids to be out there, but sometimes idle minds, as we know, do other things. So like adults, same way. We might not do illegal things, but there are times when we do totally dumb things because we're bored. And we do. Steve is like, yeah. You know, I'm going to say we might not break the law, but we would do something totally dumb because you had nothing to do at that point in time. And later on, you're going to wonder why I do that. And it's because you're like, just forget about it. But we do it too, is what I'm saying. So like I said, I think the council needs to look at some of the underlying root of the problem instead of just slapping a Band-Aid on the curfew. Yes, it is a problem with the curfew, but we need to ask why. And I would challenge the city council to meet with a group of diverse children from middle school, elementary school, high school. That's a good idea. That are diverse from every area of the city. Meet with a group of them and say, hey, listen, what do you think about the curfew? What do you think could be better? Ask them first, because guess what? I don't know why we vote on a curfew that doesn't affect us. To me, it makes no sense to vote on a curfew that don't affect you. Really, it doesn't, because the curfew is about the kids. So I think they should have not the final weigh-in voice, but they should have a weigh-in on what's going on. Because I bet you, if some of our city council were tough enough and brave enough to meet with a diverse group of kids, they would walk away with a different knowledge than the one they had when they walked into the door. So that's my challenge for our lovely city council. Yes, Steve, you here? I know.
I just got back on. So, and that's actually a good idea to listen to them as well. And and there's, as far as the debates that's been going on in the city council about the curfew, there have been debates in favor of, some people have been in favor of keeping the curfew at 11, and just actually expressing, hey, this responsibility lies on the parents. And like you said, no matter what time you set the curfew at, it's the parents who, in the end, in some cases, are responsible. And so, if the parents, like you said, in some cases, they can't be there to make sure their kids don't leave the house. They have to work at night. Some kids sneak out, and that's some of the things that we've some of the information that we've gotten is that a lot of parents, when they come to teen court, they didn't know that their kids were out of the house. And so, that's one of the things that happens. And so, even as it goes, though, my one thing I'll say as far as myself is, like you said, the curfew is going to be there's going to be a curfew. And so even with that curfew, what happens after that curfew goes into effect still kind of falls, like you said, back onto the families, the kids, and their decisions. Right. And so, like you said, the curfew is even, as you want to say, kind of like a ceremonial type thing that is set. But yet, in the same point, the safety of the kids, the safety of the community, the reduction in crime is still based on the community itself, as far as family structure, family units, and so forth, and things like that. So, like you said, the curfew itself, like you said, that's just something on the top. But like you said, what's happening down on the inside? Even as you said, with jobs are being created on the west side of Killeen. Mm-hmm. Jobs are being created in different parts of Killeen, but even so on the north side of Killeen, you have what you have. Nothing new is coming. As far as as far as I know, as far as we can tell, the jobs that are the jobs that are there. And so with that right there, as you said, even with kids who say they have no jobs and that's why kids go do stuff, these kids may not have cars to get to the opposite side of town. So what happens then is that we have to try to figure out some way to get more stuff over there that teenagers can do as far as getting jobs. Because right now we have jobs that adults and teenagers are fighting for. Correct. Yes, you do. And so with that, we had to get jobs that are for adults, and we had to get jobs that are for teens and adults that are just retired or just need something to do and so forth. But we need to get jobs that distinguish between those two, so the teenagers can have jobs to find on that side of town. Okay, I'm gonna give you a challenge. And first of all, congratulations for winning. Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations. And then we're gonna talk to we're gonna learn some more about habitat after that. And I want you to stay and listen to, because yes, definitely there needs to be a relationship formed, and I don't think there is one. My challenge is this. Our Chamber of Commerce, and this is from my own personal thing, they're the worst people we ever had in life. And I'm going to say this because of this. Your Chamber of Commerce is supposed to be your steering committee as far as bringing economical things to the city. In Killeen, I can eat and house you. That's it. I can eat and I can house you. That's it. I can't do nothing else. Restaurants are service jobs, and the money goes out. There's no reason for anybody to buy anything here. Okay, so the money that the city council gives the chamber every year in their budget, I think they need to earn it first and get paid later. I think they need to be on a 90-day string. They need to come back every 90 days to the council and say, this is what we've done, this is what we're bringing. Then they get some money. Yeah, you know what? And actually, during the campaign season, I mean, even before that, I mean, you've heard some council members saying things like that, and that's actually something I was thinking myself as far as a progress report. Right. And but now I have heard, I got to verify, but I have heard that there are some things in the pipe in regards to some things possibly coming to Killeen that are bigger, better things. And so, but otherwise, I do agree with you on that part, that a progress report needs to be given, and they need to tell us what's going on, because I think with the atmosphere like it's been the past year, if you will, I think that may have spurred them to
do a little bit more.
And they can't now. First, they cannot use Walmart, and they can't. use
I agree with you. I agree.
Because those are entities within themselves.
I agree.
Who decide on their own that they're coming, so they can't use those.
Yeah, I mean, since 190 has been designated as a highway now,
yes,
then I'm looking for change in what's coming in.
Yes,
and like you said, as far as we have our restaurants. You know, we have the Walmarts, and the Walmarts have their place because, you know, a lot of teens, everything. We have those jobs there that are keeping people, you know, teens off the streets and giving them things to do and make money and learn to be responsible. But at the same time, what about the adults at the same time? And so we need, like we talk about our housing prices, how low they are. They have to, I mean, I'll say it, it's going to sound controversial, I guess, but they have to be this low because our median income in the city is so low.
Yeah.
They have to be low.
Right. So
if you bring in jobs that can produce a higher income, then you can build bigger, better houses and not just rely on people, you know, the people who make a lot of money working in the medical field or the contract field or something like that. Then the average citizen can buy bigger, better houses as well.
And also, remember the green space. We tend to knock down every darn tree, every bush, and everywhere when we don't have to. And we forget that accidentally people have children, and accidentally they build these communities. And they forget that there might need to be a place to take your children.
Well, you know, I mean, because you remember when I was on before. I mean, I was fighting for parks left and right. I mean, I was fighting for parks to no end. But like I said, I mean, I got shot down by the city council at that point. You know, back then. And one of the city councilmen's argument was, well, if you create more parks, then you create more places for crime to occur. And that was this person's philosophy on that. And I disagree with it, but. You know, even right now, what they'll tell you right now, and it's a good thing because out at Lions Club Park, there is on the agenda to an agreement to build working in cooperation with somebody to build a special needs park, a special needs section, and that's good, awesome. and we need that, and that's a thumbs up. But at the same time, go ahead.
Well, we have excuse me.
No, go ahead. I know you got something.
Since that is my life.
Yes, that's your thing. Yes.
Long Branch Park don't have anything for special needs kids.
But they're building it.
They've been building it for 7 years.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So I think we're growing the lumber.
Because you know in our just recent council meeting or workshop rather, you know, gosh.
Farming lumber takes a while.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Somebody said farming lumber takes a while, but we're you know what? And it slipped my mind which organization it was. So I'm not gonna try to guess and say it. But one of the organizations in Killeen, as far as it goes, has donated money, half of the money to create this park. And so a lot of things come down to, you know, as far as, you know, donations, matching grants, and things like that. And that's what's enabling this thing to go forward like it is. And so. Like I said, so it's a good thing, but at the same time, we still need to focus on other areas as well. No, I'll take this. I'm not going to complain about it. This is going to be a great thing. It's going to be good. You know, it's going to be ADA certified and everything like that and so forth. But at the same time, I'm still, in my thought, we need more neighborhood parks. And right now, what I've been seeing since before I got on the council, leading up to the elections and before I got on, is all this land has been rezoned for residential and apartment housing, and it's to me it's almost like wherever there's land, if there's 10 acres, if there's 5 acres, let's rezone it to R1 so we can build some duplexes and some houses there. I mean, if there's anything, but my thing is, let's, like you said, green space. I mean, it just seems to all be going away.
Because I'm gonna laugh, and 9 this year, so she knows my brain. See, these other two people don't know me, so they don't know my brain goes way over. Steve knows too, because next to the Chisholm's funeral home, they built a housing complex. I couldn't live there. I don't know. It would be something weird, and people are living there. I just find it weird. That's just kind
next to a funeral home.
I know, but it's kind of
a beautiful building.
I know, but living the complex they built, the duplexes behind it.
When we build a housing community, a park, to be built in the housing community. Like, why aren't we requiring the people that build the housing community?
Your city council person, right?
Yeah, but you know,
park in the community at the same time. A lot of other states are doing that. They are requiring the housing, the people that are building the house, the whole community, to build the house, build the parks at the same time.
Now, and actually, that's one of the things that I brought up before about, and I didn't get the specifics down because I was still doing research, but I did bring it up on the council about for every number of rooftops, there has to be green space that is dedicated, and that green space has to be used for a park.
That's awesome.
And so I'm working on the statistics of it. So that's what I'm coming back to again. But that's something I want to do because, like I said, our regional parks are great. Okay, Lions Club is great. Long Branch is great, but for the people who are far away from those parks,
Right.
who don't have transportation,
Right.
That's where things become difficult. They don't get to enjoy that.
Right.
So that's one of the things I'm looking at actually, or I will bring back up. And if anybody out there has numbers on it, if you know some stuff about that, and if you want to help do some research, then by all means do it. And send some information to me. I created a new website last night on Facebook, a Facebook site called In the Loop with Killeen City Councilman District 4 Steve Harris. So if you go on Facebook and you type that in, and you'll find it, and then put your suggestions down, send me messages, because I work for y'all, the people.
He said it.
He did.
And so yeah, I do. I work. Can I have one? No, but I work for the people, and the reason I created that site, even the first thing I put on there was about the curfew, because I'm trying to solicit people's opinions for the curfew. And with the curfew, like we said, all the common sense stuff is built in already. Football games, jobs, sporting events, and all the other stuff like that. All that common sense stuff is built in. So when it comes down to it, parents, what do you think about the curfew? Should it stay at 11 o'clock, or should it be reduced to 10 o'clock? Or should there be a compromise to where it's at 10:30? And so, like I said, initially coming in, I was for the keeping it at 11 o'clock. And because as far as it goes, as far as crimes committed by teens or by the youth have gone down over the past few years. But at the same time, when I got the report from the judge about, because I asked him about juvenile victims, because our report has something about juvenile victims, and I asked him about that. And I said, okay, I'm looking at the juvenile victims, and I'm looking at the increase in adult crimes, and I'm saying, so what are the crimes that mostly affected juveniles? What are what crimes are they the victims of? And like I said, he said assault, robberies, and I can't remember the third one off the top of my head. But that in itself made me just think about possibly lowering it. Now, that's me. But if you have something different, then you need to let us know. You can't sit back on the back burner and just hear about it and ignore it. And we've had like 2 public meetings about it already. Come to the city council meeting Tuesday. But as far as it goes, I need your input, or I will have to make a decision on my own, and I will make the best decision that I think is the best. And later on, when it comes up for review again, if you don't like it and you express your opinion, then later on we can revisit it in a few years.
Okay, now I'm gonna pick on people. We have 50. I'm gonna go back to we have 50,000 registered voters in the city of Killeen, and a little over 3,000 voted. So the 3,000 smart people. The 3,000 smart people.
I must be smart.
I'm not saying nothing about the rest, but 3,000, a little more over 3,000 smart people.
Yeah,
contact your city council people. Now I'm gonna first say, don't call them. I know you're gonna say why, because you don't have a traffic at a phone call. I'd rather text them and Facebook them. I really do, because then when you answer me back, I can keep that. You're not able.
Exactly.
You're not later able to say, I didn't say that. I text you. I did. I emailed you. I did. And if you want something placed on the agenda, email your council person through their city council website and ask them to place something on the agenda. And if they don't, beat them up.
Yeah, because I have stuff coming.
We're not condoning violence.
Not beat them up. Not beat them up. Not beat them up. Beat them up.
Yeah, hold us accountable. Hold us accountable for real.
If that council person doesn't answer you back, what I mean by beat them up is add on email them again, but also tag on the city manager. You see what I mean? If they're not answering you back, tag on somebody. Just keep going up until finally they go.
You know what else I'll say? I'll say this as well. If your council member doesn't respond to you or work the way you think they should work, and if, like I said, if they're putting in a good effort and something just can't be done, then it just can't be done. But if they're just kind of blowing you off and not doing stuff, then contact another city council member, because there are those of us who actually care about what you care about.
Right.
Yeah.
You have concerns. So if that doesn't work with your district council member, then contact another district council member, because just because just because I'm in District 4, I'm still for all of Killeen.
Right.
I've been voted in to represent a certain district as far as, specifically in a sense, but yet I'm still a Killeen city council member, and I will still help people in Killeen.
Well, that's why it's called the council.
Yes, that's why it's called the council. Yes.
Yeah.
That, and you have the at-large folks also.
Yes.
city manager, city mayor, contact them all. That's the beauty of having the city council is regardless. Folks get too focused on this is my district.
Right.
No. You elected that person to represent your district. However, they're a representative of the city.
Yeah.
So always reach out further.
Okay, Steve, I want to thank you for taking up some time until our guest got here, which is great.
Oh, no problem.
But not the rabbit. I forgot about the rabbit fest until I got here, and I still need people to explain to me why we have rabbit fest or no rabbits. But it's okay.
Okay.
It's all right. I'm just saying it's Texas, and I've learned.
I saw one out there on the highway.
No, I want to see if it's a rabbit fest. They should be running it. But anyway, I'm just
like a rabbit marathon. Like everybody dressed up as a rabbit.
What's your name now? What's your name? Melissa needs to be in my classroom with special needs 3-year-olds.
I have 7 girls, so
Oh, awesome. My goodness.
Okay, so can we switch seats for a minute there? All right. Okay, many of us, a lot of people haven't heard of Habitat, don't know what it is, don't know what it's about. But I'll say I do, because years ago, I think Habitat, I thought you all died and went away and fell off into the ocean, because I used to when they built the house for women, I worked in the house because someone accidentally let me use a nail gun. Should have never let me use a nail gun, because those houses out there, nail gun, their nails they will never fall out.
But that building's still there, though. Yeah. It is still there. So I'll tell you that.
My maid just repaired the nail gun. Oh my goodness.
Then that was me. Then if you had to repair the nail, it was me. But we had a lot of fun doing it. We really did have a lot of fun doing it. And then all of a sudden it went away, and I don't know what happened. And I'll say one day, it's a lady I know, she's standing right here. Her name is Nine. Hey. And she come calling me on the phone talking about Habitat. I'm like, didn't they go away?
We back.
Yeah, we're back.
So can you introduce yourself first?
My name's Ken Cates. I took over as executive director for Fort Hood Area Habitat just about 1.5 years ago, and I have our development director Melissa with me.
Okay, what is Habitat for those who don't know?
Habitat for Humanity, our focus is to assist low-income families, and the way we assist low-income families is we build a home for low-income families that are within that 30 to 80% median income. Now, when we build the home, it's not a handout. It's a hand up. They have to work. Sweat equity. They're helping build other people's homes first. Once they meet that minimum sweat equity hours for the family, not just one individual, everybody gets a piece. Then we'll break ground on their house. At the end, we hand them a key, and we close on the house. All they're paying for is the materials and the basic build. We don't hire a bunch of salaried people. We don't have paid roofers, paid carpenters. We have one construction supervisor paid, and everything else is volunteer workforce. So we can reduce the cost of that house to the materials primarily only. So we give them a 0-interest mortgage on that house. So and our focus on that mortgage is, HUD says 40% of gross income. Habitat International says 35%. Our focus, because we know historically houses that we build increase ridiculously on the county tax base. So we focus on 30% of their income, because we know in 3 years they're going to hit that 35%. So we're planning them for longevity and financial peace, strength, stability, self-reliance through shelter.
So let's say Nine's getting a house through Habitat, and she has to do hours on Steve's house. Okay. So, but when it's time for her house, can't other friends and organizations and groups pitch in hours to help out?
Yes, that's part of the sweat equity. Sweat equity hours are broken down. There's a minimum of 300 per family.
Right.
So in Nine's case, if Nine were the one that was getting this house, she would do all her sweat equity. So her sweat equity hours include construction on other people's homes first. Includes time working in our restore. Includes fundraising events. Includes attending our finance peace classes. So we do Financial Peace University. They have to go through that, and they also have to maintain a savings account through their sweat equity time, so they have the money at closing, because there's still closing costs. So we prepare them, like I said, for self-reliance and stability. Those are the two primary focuses. However, when she comes out to build, bring her family, bring her friends, bring the church group out there, because all those hours they're volunteering apply to her friends and family hours.
Okay.
So
how many of that do you have to
Again, it's based on the number size of the family.
Okay.
So 9 would have to do 50 construction personally, and then the friends and family, it's approximately 1/3 of the hours total.
So it's 50 restore fundraising, 50 construction, and then you have 200 donated. So friends, family, church, everybody else. And then if you have a daughter or son, I usually throw in 25 hours for them if they're 12 or older,
Right,
because
right.
I feel like if they have an investment in the house, they're going to take care of the house a little better. They're not going to put their foot through the wall because they're angry at you and throwing a temper tantrum.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, now, reason why I asked Steve to come, and I asked the other 2 council people to come, but actually they have other things that they needed to do, and so I promised them that you all would meet with them later, so you will, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I am not. Yeah. My head's going north and south. Yeah. We are.
And because I don't know if Steve know that you all are back out again. I wanted to know, does the city council know that Habitat for Humanity is, I'll say back out because what I'm saying, for a while we didn't hear from you, so.
No, I mean, actually, I didn't know what happened to y'all myself, though.
Well,
Things got quiet for a good
I'll
while.
address that actually, because I'm a transparent person,
Right.
and I'm all about honesty, transparency,
Right.
and the truth.
Right.
I'll be upfront. When I took over, we were averaging 1 house per year, which is horrendous. That's not our focus. Our focus is to impact the community.
Right.
So we've taken over. I've taken over, and our future right now, we have completed 2 homes. We have actually broken ground. We're about to do a wall raising in Killeen, which Mayor Segarra was actually at our number 69. So he and Gregory Johnson used to be a board member. So they know we're here, but they have witnessed and personally been part of the frustration of 1 home a year is not progress.
Right.
So we've taken over, we've done those homes, we're breaking ground on another across the street. We have 2 builds coming up in Temple. We have 1 coming up in Coppers Cove right after that. And that's thanks to the city of Coppers Cove and the teamwork there. They've donated $65,000 a while back ago for us to build. And that's what we're gonna do with that money, is build in Coppers Cove. Well, after that, we have a homeless veteran community that we're going to be building in. Our goal is in Nolanville, and same program. They're not getting a handout; they're getting a hand up for our homeless veterans.
Nolanville?
What, Nolanville? I'll be honest with
why?
you, because
Yeah.
they have a lot of green space.
Okay.
And they have the teamwork and the partnership from the city council, city manager, that are actually coming to us, saying, we want you in Nolanville. We're going to waive this. We're going to do this. We're going to bring together volunteers to help make it happen. And they're putting us in contact with people who own land, people who are willing to support Habitat. That's why we're going to Nolanville. Why are we building 2 homes in Temple immediately? Because the city of Temple is waiving tap fees, waiving permits. They're actually paying for us to be there. They're paying to clear the lot. They're paying to chop down the trees. And if there's a piece of building there, they're going to demolish it. It didn't charge us anything.
So have you spoken before the whole city council, and not just,
We're preparing. We're actually working with Greg Johnson.
Okay.
Because we're going to prepare a presentation because he's been a former board member. He knows the program. He knows what we do. So we're sitting down with him. Once I finalize everything, we're actually trying to mirror what Temple is doing, so that Killeen already has. I'm a firm believer. Don't recreate the wheel.
Right.
Just put some new tread on it. Throw a different brand name on it. Go from Temple to Killeen.
Yeah.
So
With rips.
make it's working, and it's working solid. So that's our goal, and we can present that to the city council to see what the city says. But that's what happened to Habitat, and part of the reason, I'm not going to say it was all staff, board. That wasn't. It was an all-inclusive. We've lost a lot of partners.
Right.
We've lost a lot of sponsors. Businesses, when we knock on the doors, businesses turn us away, or they'll tell us up front, hey, I love what Habitat does, but they don't do anything.
Right.
So we've got great partners out there that are finally stepping up, giving us the chance, giving us that opportunity, and we're proving that we're doing what we say. Thanks to, and I'm going to plug a few. I can't plug every one of them because there's so many. I would take up another hour of your time on the radio.
That's good.
But one of our biggest partners right now is Ellis Air. Ellis has stepped forward immediately. They heard, oh, Habitat? Man, what do you need? It wasn't, what are you calling me about? It was, what do you need? We're there. They immediately, through our family fun day over the summer last summer, we told them the sponsorship is $1,000. They threw it at us and said, how many of my team do you need out there to help? It wasn't, here's a check. It was, we want to be part of that. So they sent their guys out there, helped set it up, helped tear it down. The Ellis brothers, the Ellis family is just amazing at what they do. We contacted them again for our basketball game, the Harlem Ambassadors, and they said, man, we're there. What else? What can we do to make it happen? So partners like that, partners like McAllister's helping provide meals for our volunteers. Starbucks on Tremere. Every event we have, we contact Starbucks. They hook us up with coffee and creamer and everything set up. Danishes, whatever we need. I mean, they really help us out. Chick-fil-A, never fail us. Never fail us. Red's out in Harker Heights, hook our folks up with some wings. Texas Roadhouse. I mean, again, I apologize. I'm not hitting them all of them.